Good afternoon, everybody. I am so happy to introduce you today to two Boulder Valley School District superstars. Dr. Arlie Huffman is the Director of Career and College Connections for the Boulder Valley School District, where he leads a team focused on career and technical education, dual and concurrent enrollment, he'll explain what that is, and work-based learning. He's also the principal of Boulder Tech, and which is the Career and Technical Education Center for Boulder Valley. His PhD in education focused on studying a type of early college. How many of you got to take college credit classes while you were in high school? Some of you, nice, good. With the opportunity to earn their associate's degree and K through 12 diploma after 4 years in high school. He has worked for over 20 years in the career and technical education space. He knows a lot about dual and concurrent enrollment. And he also did work-based learning, starting as a computer science teacher, progressing through the school and district administrative positions. Before beginning his career in education, Arlie was an atmospheric research scientist, but he decided he needed to get his head out of the clouds. Those are his words, so get ready. Accompanying Arlie today is Jody Bennett, another superstar, and Jody is the work-based learning coordinator for the school district. As such, she is focused on building a system of career-connected learning opportunities for students in the PK through 12 Boulder Valley School District system. She also plays a key role in making connections with and the recruitment of external industry partners to support programming in Boulder Valley. She'll offer you some awesome opportunities today to get involved with her work. Her undergraduate degree in business marketing led her to a career in sales and marketing for 15 years before she earned her master's degree in secondary business education. That allowed her to pursue her passion, helping students prepare for life after high school as a business and marketing teacher for 13 years. After seeing how work-based learning changed the educational experience for students in her classroom, she wanted to be at the forefront of helping to expand these opportunities for students in Boulder Valley, and that's what she's doing. So we are so happy to have these two superstars here today. I brought a special gift for both of them that I'm gonna put on them as they come up. They are capes because they are superstars. So Arlie and Jody, come on up. Applause for Arlie.
Now I really better be special here. So anyway, good afternoon. We are so pleased to be here today, speaking with you and sharing some of the exciting things going on in BVSD. And want to say thank you so much to Michelle for the great introduction. And as you have gathered from the introductions, both Jody and I come from outside of education and are bringing that kind of experience in. And we think that is reflective in so much of the work we're doing, and it really honestly gives us some perspective about why connecting our students to the world outside of the school walls is such an important thing. So you have, I believe this is the right one. You've seen this already, so we will skip right over that one. I think Jody, you're taking this one.
Before we get started, we just wanted to make sure that you hear loud and proud from us how thankful we are for you. Boulder Rotary supports many, many programs. We have a few of them listed there, but your support of our programming is imperative. There are a lot of things that we couldn't do without that support. Things like funding learning materials for CTE programs at Boulder Tech, which keeps our curriculum relevant and provides experiences that align better to reality for our students. Scholarships for students who are interested in expanding their learning beyond what we can afford or what we can offer at BVSD, providing them the opportunity to take college classes while in high school so they can have that type of experience. funding to help with transportation so students can experience industry, careers, and colleges firsthand, and support to our teachers on how to properly prepare students to apply for the variety of scholarships and funding opportunities that exist. We also know, because I see some familiar faces out there in the crowd, that there are many other ways that you support BVSD, and we just want to make sure you hear from us how sincerely thankful we are for that support.
All right, so I'm going to start by talking and introducing a little bit about career and technical education, what that is, what that looks like across the district, and some of the new things that are in the works. Thanks to our voters, all of you out there, passing a recent bond that is going to really help to bring some of our spaces into the 21st century. So to that end, we have career and technical education, and for many of you out there, just like myself, when we were in high school, that was voc ed, if you will. And it was probably, at least I know in my high school, it was that thing that there was that space down the hall, under the stairs somewhere, and sometimes, you know, those kids would go down there and they would come out of whatever they were doing really happy, right? And they were enjoying what they were doing. Then they'd come into math class and have to sit there and sit still and just read or write, and they were not happy any longer. And we didn't know what that was. We're really sure. We're coming a long, long way from that now, and that's what career and technical education is, and we're even taking a little different spin on it that I'll show you in the next slide here in BVSD. Because CTE is beneficial really to every single student, bar none. Everything we do in education truly should be focused on a career, right? There are connections to everything we learn to whatever career that student is going to pursue. It may be a long way between high school and that career. You think about somebody going to medical school and then to fellowship and et cetera, et cetera. It could be decades, but still everything they're learning is directly connected to some type of career down the line. So this is a snapshot of every single one of the pathways. We call them the career pathway areas. Some are narrow, some are broad, that are available in all of our different high schools. Right at the top there, you'll see Boulder Tech and the variety of things that we offer at Boulder Tech. Many of these, such as welding, automotive service, automotive collision repair, are very expensive to run, and we really only have them in one location now, and that is Boulder Tech. So to that end, I'm going to put in a plug. On September 6th, know that there is an opportunity for you to join us at Boulder Tech, learn more about it, get a tour, see what's going on, and I'll explain this on the 6th as well. Boulder Tech is about to undergo a pretty dramatic renovation, so you'll get to see the as it is right now, and then you could come back in a couple of years and be amazed at what you'll see then. So I mentioned that CTE in BVSD is undergoing sort of an evolution, if you will. And we as a district, as leadership team, some outside consultants really looked at what does it mean for CTE within BVSD. And when you think about the opportunities that students have within those programs, what are we really doing? We're helping them along their career pathway. We're helping them really accelerate to what's next in their lives. So we thought, well, accelerate, that works pretty well. So we're really internally rebranding CTE, if you will, as Accelerate in BVSD. So if you visit any of the secondary schools as they undergo their bond construction work, you'll see branding. And it'd be Accelerate at Boulder High School, Accelerate at Angevine Middle School. This is to provide some connections and to really make sure that students understand that what they're doing, what they're learning at their schools isn't isolated. It's part of a big picture. There's a lot out there that they can learn about and experience, even within BVSD. I mentioned the bond, and again, thank you very much, is a major focus of the bond, and the bond construction is on renovating our CTE spaces in every secondary school, middle and high, and at Boulder Tech. So that has started. Show you right here. We have multi-phase approach to this. You don't have to pay too much attention to the schools unless you happen to be specifically connected to one of those. You can see more or less where the work is going to happen. Phase one has already been really going quickly. Broomfield High, Centaurus High. If you happen to have driven past Centaurus on South Boulder Road, you can see the addition going on. That is an engineering addition, CTE program there. Fantastic, high profile. We're going to be seeing a lot of that across the district. And it's really to help the students make the connections that don't feel like school. This is more than just getting theory. This is more than just solving the problems at the end of the chapter. This is taking that knowledge and doing something with it to really learn about what's next. Find out what their areas of interest are, where their talents lie, and what they can do with that. So I'm going to pass this back over to Jody and talk a little bit more about what is going on Grad Plus. She'll describe that a little bit. This is a very broad approach in the district. We feel like we're in a really good place in BVSD to be looking differently at education. Jody?
So Grad Plus is a framework that rolled out really intensively last year, was probably actually rolled out the year before that, but really, got sort of a good head start or start, I guess you could say, last year. The BVSD Grad Plus framework is our promise to our students that you will graduate with more than a diploma. There are 4 different areas. Uh-oh. I'm like my students, how do you use this? There we go. All right, there are 4 different quadrants of focus for Grad Plus, as you can see here. Work-based learning, industry certification, college before graduation, and the seal of biliteracy. BVSD believes that students who participate in one or more of these quadrants will have a competitive advantage when they graduate from high school, no matter what their path is. We're busy working to ensure that all students have access and opportunity to these 4 different areas of experience, whether we're increasing college classes that are taught in Spanish, work-based learning program with specific mentors, and expanded CTE programming to make sure that we align with what our workforce development needs here in the Boulder area. So today we're going to spend some time focusing on, well, it's not the best because they're all equal, right? But work-based learning, because that's my part, right? Work-based learning, we're going to talk a little bit about what work-based learning is, and then I'm going to give you some areas where you can get involved, ways that you can partner with us. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is, there we go, the work-based learning continuum. You all have copies of this on your table. The work-based learning continuum was created by the state of Colorado, and it demonstrates the continuum of activities that work-based learning includes. Work-based learning, another word for it, is career-connected learning, and it is anything that allows a student to connect what they're learning in the classroom to the world outside. And so as you can see on the continuum, that ranges from anything from a guest speaker or a field trip or a job shadow all the way up to something like an internship or an apprenticeship. Many people hear work-based learning and they think, oh, that's internships or that's apprenticeships or that's bringing students into my world of work. But there are, as you can see, lots of different ways that work-based learning can take place in education. A couple of things that we are doing for work-based learning for this school year at the elementary. Oh, I do want to say that too. There's also a misconception that work-based learning or career-connected learning should be done in high school. And it's my job, fortunately, and my passion to make sure that career-connected learning activities happen throughout the entire system. If we can start having these conversations in elementary school, then by the time students are in middle school, it's not foreign to think about the reason we are in school, right? And then by the time they're in middle school and they start to explore it a little bit better, they're able to be more informed decision makers about their pathway through high school and beyond. Ultimately, and I think Arlie insinuated this a little bit ago, but ultimately, it doesn't matter how many years a student is in school for. They're preparing for a career. If you're in school just through high school, career. If you're in school and you're going to go to post-secondary education at a 2-year institution, school or career. 4-year institution, career, so on and so forth. And I think if we start to make the connection for students starting in elementary school of the answer to the question of why are you in school, right? You ask any 4th grader, 5th grader, 8th grader why they're in school, and their answer will be, because it's what I do, I'm a kid, right? But really the answer should be so that I can help get ready for what comes next, right? So that I can help be better prepared for what comes next. So we have created some programming or built up our programming that is going to take place in all of our schools. And as we continue to build this system, we have a few initiatives that are happening this year. So first and foremost, at the elementary level, we started a program called Dare to Dream. Last year, it was started at Flatirons Elementary School. They were the first group to kind of reach out and say, I want to do something for College and Career Week in November. So we created Dare to Dream Week. This was a week-long career week, for lack of better terms, right? A week-long program where every student in every grade had career-connected learning activities. And so on Monday, we talked about dreaming and ideas and things like that. And on Tuesday, we did some self-investigation, the kinds of skills and things that I like to do. We had guest speakers come in, and even the kindergartners got to listen to guest speakers. We had an airline pilot come in, and he brought his, or a fighter pilot come in, he brought his helmet, and the little kindergartner was standing there with the helmet on. It was adorable. And then Friday, it was dressed like a professional day. And there's just a million different ideas that we can do with this, but it was a really great way to kick off and make sure that all of our students at the elementary level were getting some connection to career. We also did Dare to Dream Week at Monarch K-8. At the end of the year at the elementary school level, and Whittier Elementary also did some Dare to Dream activities as well. So looking to expand that this year, hopefully to 12 elementary schools. So one way that we could use some help is guest speakers and things like that. So we'll reach out a little more about that. At the middle level, we are really expanding our career exploration. And in a few minutes, you're going to hear me talk about a new system that we are rolling out called Pathfinder. Pathfinder is the BVSD Career Exploration and Connect to Business System. We are just getting started with it this year. It was approved last year. We worked on it all summer. The name Pathfinder, well, I'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, we're going to be doing some career-connected learning activities through Pathfinder, rolling out at the middle level to align with students' ICAP. And ICAP is an individual career and academic plan. All students have to have them in the state, and Pathfinder will help us systemize our plan a little bit better. We're also going to focus a lot at the middle level on career days and career fairs. I'm hoping to do a big community career fair at some point for middle school, as well as CTE pathway exploration. So all of our 8th graders come to Boulder Tech. They learn about Accelerate, they learn about CTE programming and how that can connect to their interest and skills. And then finally, at the high school level, we are really rolling out our programming on internships. We created a bunch of new programs that we have available for schools to take on, career-connected learning opportunities, whether it's through internships or job shadows, or even a career capstone, industry-sponsored projects, project-based learning, things that help students prepare for the world of work. So, as I alluded to a few minutes ago, Pathfinder is our new career exploration software program that is going to be rolled out this year. It has a connect to business component, which is where community members and business partners like you can create a profile where students can click on your business and learn a little bit more about what you do and the types of work that you do. You also can connect here and provide opportunities for students. So if you want to host an intern at your company, you can post that internship. If you're willing to be a guest speaker, you can post that you're willing to be a guest speaker, and teachers can reach out to you based on your area of expertise. So this is very exciting. Pathfinder was named by a student. We had a contest or an assignment, a lesson plan through the business and marketing classes, and this was chosen. A student at Monarch High School actually named the system, so that was really exciting for us as well to move forward. So be on the lookout. We are going to be doing several Connect to Business workshops here in the fall, throughout the fall. If you're interested in setting up a profile, we'll be doing some virtual, some in person, and also have a walkthrough for you to create a profile on your own. So I think I'm getting close. Am I getting close on time? Am I doing okay? All right. So let's talk about the possibilities. Let's talk about these partnerships. Let's talk about what can a partnership look like between you and between Boulder Valley School District. So first and foremost, volunteer opportunities. Things like being a classroom guest speaker, putting on career readiness workshops if you have a particular skill or you want to talk about communication or teamwork or things that students, those non-tangible things that students need to be prepared for the world of work. Hosting a field trip, CTE advisory board. Every CTE program, and those are the programs that Arlie showed you a few minutes ago, is meant to be a career it's career and technical education, right? And that's meant to be really preparing students for a career in that pathway. Well, in order for us to be fully educated on what it is that career entails, we need industry partners to help, right? We need your input, we need your feedback, we need your help on what's new in the industry, what's happening in the industry, and that is all done through advisory boards. So it's a great opportunity to volunteer to help build and make sure that our CTE pathways are on track to meet the needs of industry. So that's a great way to volunteer 2 times a year in the area of your expertise. You could sponsor an intern. Feels like it could be a heavy lift, but not too bad. Our internship classes vary as far as how many hours and what the expectations are, but for the most part, hosting an intern is sort of bringing somebody into your business and allowing them to explore all of the different facets. So they sit in on a team meeting. Maybe there's a small project that they can help with. They learn about all the different pieces and parts of your business. Do you have inventory? Do you have staffing? And really get the opportunity to have a hands-on experience so that they can determine if this is a good career path for them. They are short-term and they are a great way to grow your own talent. We talk about that a lot with apprenticeships, but they're a great way to grow your own talent because if you end up with an intern who you love and loves you, it could be someone who is a future employee. So another way that we can partner is, as Arlie said, as we're going through this bond work, we're creating new programs or expanding programs at all of our schools. We are looking for partners who want to be involved in that work, right? Again, we can't build industry-driven or industry-informed pathways if we don't have information or input from industry. So as we are building out and creating, doing our bond work and building out those pathways, we're looking for people to help provide opportunities and input in those areas. And then finally, this one's my favorite because it's the one that most often gets forgotten about, and it's the easiest and probably the most efficient and most fun way to involve students in your work, and that's industry-sponsored projects. Industry-sponsored projects are, you've got a problem or something that you're trying to do at your business, and you bring it to a program or a class of students and ask them to solve the problem. Now, you may or may not use their solution. They don't need to know that. But as they're figuring this out, they're tackling something that is real, that is relevant, and that is directly connected to something that's happening in your business. It makes them feel like they have some power, and it makes them feel like what they're doing is really benefiting or helping the community or the business or whatever it is. So industry-sponsored projects are one of those things I like to throw out. My husband's in marketing, and he was telling me about a new type of software they were launching, and how he was putting together this deck to present it to a client. And I was like, well, can my marketing class like give you some ideas? Can I take it to my marketing class and have them put it together? And he kind of laughed at me like high schoolers, you know? But really, it's pretty incredible what a different pair of eyes can do, and you would be shocked by what they actually can come up with. And so for nothing else, sometimes it's just something fun to see what they can come up with. And then finally, I already hit the button. And then finally, continuing to support BVSD in the ways you already do. As I mentioned at the beginning, there are so many programs and things that we do that we couldn't do without your support. So your continued support of those things, whether it's through time, money, supplies, resources, any of that stuff is so greatly appreciated. And so now I think we have some time for questions. I do want to say, before we get to questions real quick, I do want to say what the QR code, the link, and then the little business cards on your table, those will connect you to our partnership survey, a Google survey. You can fill out your information, and then it asks for ways that you'd like to be involved, and then I will follow up with you. If you don't want to scan the QR code or follow that link, you can also write your name and email address on the business card and give it to me at the end of today, and I will email you with the information. So, okay, we're ready.
Thanks for coming. I had a question about the individual career plan that you talked about, and somehow it's state mandated. That was a complete surprise to me. So could you talk a little bit more about that?
Right, so individual career and academic plan, and the idea, the reason behind it is that middle schoolers start to put together what they're going to do over the next several years while they're still, before they graduate from high school. And so it's supposed to be a sort of a living document, if you will. So as they refine their areas of interest and figure out, oh, I thought I wanted to be in healthcare. I thought I wanted to be a nurse, but I really, really don't like the sight of blood. What else can I do in the healthcare world that isn't that? And so the ICAP is supposed to be a document that helps all the adults figure out how best to support the student. And like we said, it's a state mandate. Every single secondary student in the state has this. It's sometimes used very well, like the way it's designed to, and sometimes it's a box that gets checked. Yes, student has ICAP, nobody ever looks at it again. What we're trying to do with all of our new work is to use that framework behind our new Pathfinder system and behind the conversations that are happening with students. So it becomes very, very meaningful for the students.
Great.
I'm asking this question because I think this is one of the most important objectives in education. Do you believe your program is effective in self-motivating students for a lifetime of learning, of self-learning?
I love that. I'm going to jump in. Maybe you want to add
Yeah.
too. So, because I think you're right. That is the most important thing. And you think about our world right now and how quickly things are changing. If somebody doesn't know how to learn, how to access, the information, how to continually do that for the rest of their lives, they're going to find themselves in a bad place really quickly. And so what I can tell you is that as I see students, both when I was a CTE teacher and now as an administrator, the students that get the most excited and that you're the most excited about are the ones that come in and say, hey, guess what I found? I was on YouTube and I found this thing, and what do you think about that? Because they're doing exactly what you're talking about. And so giving them the reason, making it very apparent that this is what the benefit is going to be to you personally, to your career, to your income as they progress through. Number one, that's a key piece of what we're doing.
I do want to add, are there any school counselors here? Because I am 100% on the bandwagon that this type of work is what will solve a lot of the behavioral problems that we have in school right now. Right? If we give students a reason to want to be there, they're not going to want to be anywhere else. And I saw it. I saw it in my business and marketing classroom. It is, I believe, the answer to a lot of that, making school, again, being able to have them answer that question about why they're there. They're there to get ready for what comes next.
Thank you. One of my retirement hobbies is studying German and German culture. And they've had a system of producing, wonderful welders and mechanics and what have you. And they choose the path when they're age 14. And one of the criticisms of their system is it has been very difficult to change. If you're 14 and you've chosen welding, now you're 20 and you decide you want to be a brain surgeon, and it happens, it's very difficult to make that transition. Are people making irrevocable decisions here, or can a 15-year-old do something totally different when he's 20?
That's a fantastic question. Yeah, and so it is a challenge, right? We want to be able to do all of the above, if you will, right? That we know that there are 12-year-olds that know exactly what they want to do. And so it's our job to provide all the resources and all the opportunities to let that student get as far down that path as they possibly can, because it's their thing. There are 18-year-olds that are still like, I don't know, I really like things in the arts. I'm not really sure what to do with that. And so again, we need to provide all the opportunities for them to continue to explore and to learn about themselves and learn about what the careers and all the opportunities outside of our walls. So we need to do both. We're building this to be able to do both, because the last thing we want to do is do something with a student like your example, like they feel like they're stuck. So they'll continue to get the academic, the general education courses, and the language arts and social studies and everything that build that strong base for them to be able to make the choices later. And there are choices. I think if a student decides, I really want in high school to focus on some healthcare and learn about that, they're not going to learn as much about the welding. There's just not time to do that. But they should have the background and the knowledge to be able to make that shift when it's a meaningful choice for them. Thank you for bringing that up. That's important.
I wanted to ask you do you have an ICAP program for someone like me? I'm really ready for a new career.
It's funny, as we're rolling out this new system, we've had industry partners and we've had, some of the teachers are like, can I take this assessment and see what happens? We had actually the teachers that we trained the CTE teachers, and some of them, our auto collision teacher, he got out of the assessment. It said he should be a funeral director. And he was like, is this right? I don't really know. It was kind of funny.
And Jody, and you and I met. I wanted to thank you for acknowledging all of the work that Boulder Rotary does at BVSD. Thank you. And I wanted to see if you could call out a couple specific instances with the programs that Michelle and Merrill and others have started with you through the vocational or some of the other programs. Just to, it's great to say thank you on the Broadway, but maybe there's a story or two.
A story or two. Michelle might be the better storyteller. The The scholarships are huge. We have the students at Boulder Tech get assistance in learning how to apply for the scholarships. So it's something that we make a focused effort on. These scholarships are provided by Boulder Rotary and are for CTE students only, which is really special and unique. I was having a conversation yesterday with my sister talking about how, you get academic cords and you get all of these things for having a 4.0 GPA and all of that kind of stuff, but completing a career and technical education program such as those at Boulder Tech require a serious commitment that many students aren't willing to make. And so having you be able to honor that and reward students for that dedication is really, really special.
Thank you both so much for everything that you're doing. I have one at Monarch and one at Peak to Peak right now. So I'm grateful for all that you do. And I could not be in a classroom with kids like you all are. But one thing that strikes me is this effort at thinking about career, because I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up, when I graduated from college. And the idea that kids are thinking about it so early. My son is dating a senior at Monarch who, she's at the CTE program half the day and wants to be an early childhood educator. And you all mentioned that, you can create pathways by working with the program to grow talent. But I'm wondering, have you all been able to take any students yet from the CTE program and place them as teachers in BVSD?
So the short answer is we're working on it. But they have had the opportunity to become, because they're still progressing through, that's early enough in that particular program that the students haven't had the chance to go all the way through the preparation, but they are directly connected. They're still working in the schools as paras or volunteers as they're doing this. So, you bring up a really good point in that BVSD needs to be able to grow its own teachers, and students that are progressing through, that get the opportunities through programs such as that, that want to stick around. We want them to be able to stick around and to really pave that path for them. So yes, that's a key part of what we're prioritizing as the students progress through that.
I want to throw out real quick too, another key part to that. That one works because it's the teacher program, but it is the same thing when you talk about getting industry involved in all of our programs, right? If you have the opportunity, if you're in manufacturing and you come and volunteer in the welding classroom and you have an intern, or you are doing an industry sponsored project where you see students who are really excelling at a particular skill that would be useful for you, it's sort of the same, kind of thing where you can be a part of the conversation of what certifications should they have, what specific skills should they be learning so that they're ready to come and work for you when they're done with the program as well. So the teacher program is an excellent example for us and for BVSD, but that really building that full pathway so that students can see that end thing, that end goal, and reach that end goal and see a path to reaching that end goal is really what we're trying to create.
We have time for one more question.
Yes, we've been hearing a lot in the popular press about the impact of AI on the job prospects for the future. Everybody's predicting radical changes, and I'm wondering whether you guys are considering that in your curriculum development.
Absolutely. That goes right back to that students need to be able to learn how to learn, because we know that's going to be a massive change. That is going to be perhaps one of the largest shifts in our economy that we've ever experienced. And so our students, and we are doing this, and it's hard right now because it's happening so quickly. So we're trying to figure out, okay, what does that look like in our particular programs and how is it integrated? The great thing is that this is an area where we can rely actually on our students to help inform us. I remember that was probably the scariest thing when I walked into the classroom the first time. I was a computer science teacher. And I had students who, as juniors, walked in and knew more about certain things than I did. And you don't fight back against that, you want to leverage that. And so we have those students now that are helping to inform us about what is happening in a broad sense, and then there can be a conversation about, okay, what does that look like in this particular career area? And of course, that's evolving quickly. I keep coming back to healthcare because there's so much going on right there, but that's one of the areas where we know AI is already making a tremendous impact on the interpretation of scans and things like that students need to be aware of right now as they are moving ahead. So yeah, it's a challenge, but we're highly aware of that.
Just throw out too. I do want to throw out, if you've heard about the Elevate Quantum Initiative and Boulder becoming a quantum tech hub. I'm not sure if you've heard of that stuff that's going on in that tech field. CU, University of Colorado, has a big OEDIT grant about quantum workforce development. Really excited to share with you, BVSD is on the ground floor of all of that work. And so we are participating with our partners at CU and a bunch of the different quantum companies here. We're part of the Elevate Quantum Consortium and part of the conversations about that forward thinking. How are we going to bring these types of technologies into our K-12 students? And not just the technologies, but letting the kids even know what it means. You say quantum and everyone's like, oh no, that's for really, really, really smart people. And really quantum is for everybody in lots of different ways. So excited to share that we're doing work in that as well.
Thank you so much, Jody and Arlie, for coming out and speaking with our club today. I truly believe that you guys are superheroes and at the front lines of our future. So I really commend you for doing that for everybody. I think my favorite part about this program is the sort of connecting of the generations and the apprenticeship that is created through all of these sort of ways of learning. And really, I think we have so much to learn from everybody. So yeah, absolutely. So in your honor, after 35 years of arduous work, Rotary and its partners are on the brink of eradicating this tenacious disease, but a strong push is needed now to root it out once and for all. In your honor, the Boulder Rotary Club is pleased to contribute 100 doses of vaccine to the Polio Plus Fund.
Wow, wonderful.
Thank you so much.
That's incredible.